100 firefighters and staff from Mexico are helping fight fires in Ontario, and this weekend that country will send another 100 firefighters to British Columbia to help battle the blazes there. Juan José Gomez-Camacho is Mexico's ambassador to Canada. He is in Ottawa and he joins me now. Ambassador, thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure always. Thank you, David.
You are sending firefighters, your country is sending firefighters to Ontario and British Columbia. Do you have details on what precisely they will be doing to assist efforts in those provinces?
We are indeed, as you have said. Last Saturday, the first group arrived, 103, if I'm not mistaken. They landed in Toronto and immediately after were transferred to Thunder Bay, where they would be joining efforts. They basically, they are highly trained, I have to say, firefighters, highly competent, well-known in Canada. So they are simply joining Canadian teams to fight these tremendous fires. And also, as you said, also, next weekend, another 100 will come to go to British Columbia. This dates back to 2014, when Canadian authorities and Mexico began discussing this, that Canada has an enormous challenge on these fires. And since then, the first ones, in fact, 2016, Mexican firefighters have come. 2018, for example, we sent over 500. 19, 20, we couldn't because of the pandemic, but we have reassumed. But they are highly competent firefighters. We do experience this challenge as well, as you can imagine.
Yeah, I understand it's been a challenging year for fires in your country as well, right? I mean, we went through off the top how bad it's been in Canada, primarily in the West, but what's the situation in your country and how does that affect the decision to send this badly needed help to Canada?
It's very challenging. It's both geography and climate change, clearly, the change in temperatures. So far, we've had this year, if I'm not wrong, around 5,000 fires. But we always are willing and very keen to help Canada on this. The situation in Canada is very, very challenging, so happy to do it. And whenever the Canadian authorities make a request on this, we will send them. And I have to say, David, they all are very keen to come. They all come on voluntary basis. And the numbers, the queues of firefighters willing to come is in fact very long. So it's very, very good.
I wonder if I could just switch to another topic, sir, and that's the border. The United States announced that it's not reopening its land border to Canada. It's also not reopening its land border to Mexico. And do you think that the two borders are connected, that one can't open until the other is ready to open? Do you think that's the approach that the U.S. is taking here?
I think it does make sense that the U.S. treats both borders the same way, even if each of them have their own complexities. We believe it's time, and ongoing conversations with the U.S. authorities are very intensified, if I may say. One thing that we are doing to facilitate this reopening is that we have intensified, for example, the vaccination campaign on our northern border. So we all help to secure both sides of the border, facilitating the opening up. But I think it has to be treated in the same way. And I have the impression Canada and Mexico have the same views on working with the US in getting this done soon.
What the U.S. has said is that it's working with Canadian and Mexican officials, and this is a quote, to identify the conditions under which restrictions may be eased safely and sustainably. What do you think those conditions need to be before there can be a loosening of the U.S. border?
Well, one is precisely what I was saying, making sure that we intensified the vaccination campaign, that our health authorities on both sides of the border are duly connected. And at the same time, I think people are very responsible. We all have learned, we all have understood the challenges of COVID. We all have understood the modalities we need to live with for the time being. So in addition of being vaccinated, we have to be responsible. And I have the impression, I can't say quite with a lot of certainty that at least on the Mexican side, people are very, very, very clear on that. On the other hand, the social mobility, the economic activity in the border between Mexico and the US, as it is in the case of Canada and the US, is simply gigantic. So it's really, I think, in the best interest of the three countries to go back to as normal as we can as soon as possible.
Yeah, there's certainly been a concern of border towns here in Canada that the closures had a significant economic, negative economic impact. You described it as gigantic. I mean, can you quantify that or put it in a specific term of just the economic impact this has had on Mexico?
Just let me put it this way. In normal times, the Mexico-US border has around 1.2, 1.3 million border crossings per day, both ways. Just imagine the economic implication of that. And Mexico-US trade through the border is over $1 billion a day. So all the restrictions that the closure of the border or the restrictions coming from the closure of the border have absolutely a very, very big impact. Now, if I may jump also to Canada, Mexico, we are very encouraged for the last announcement yesterday about the intentions of the Canadian authorities to open up Canada for foreign travel. That, of course, includes Mexico. I hope that actually materializes. It's really very important for the same reasons I'm explaining or we are discussing on the border. There are still a few things that probably need to be clarified that I'm sure the Canadian authorities will do so as soon as possible. For example, what happens with people that is vaccinated but with vaccines other than those approved in Canada. I understand the complexities, but this is going to be a challenging issue that I'm sure the authorities will find a way to square the circle there. But it's very important, so we are very encouraged.
Okay. Ambassador, thank you so much for your time today.
Pleasure. Thank you, David.
Hi, I'm Vashi Capellos, host of Power in Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.